Hi Amazon readers, I'm Stacy Schiff, author of Cleopatra. Thanks for watching. I think Cleopatra puts a name on something that we all know and suspect has always existed, which is potent female sexuality. Just to get at her, you have to get past, the Renaissance, which was obsessed with her, Hollywood, Shakespeare, Dryden, Shaw, all of those fabulous paintings with all those naked breasts. There's a lot which is built into the image here. And when you know a little bit about her, what I think begins to fascinate is the wealth. There's really nothing to compare with the authority which Cleopatra exercises over so great a territory. Everything in Egypt is her personal estate. Everything belongs to her. The fields, the trees, the Nile itself, the crocodiles in the Nile, it's all hers. So that when she floats down the river with Julius Caesar, this is essentially a survey of her personal domain. What I meant to do is really to put her back into context. She's not the only one in the Roman world who's dealing with the rise of these conquering people, and comparing her to other sovereigns who had the same issues, particularly Herod, with whom she has some rather vexed interactions, puts her story in a bit of a context. She's not simply out to serially seduce the greatest Romans of her time, she's out to save her country, which puts a very different spin on the ball. So the wanton seductress image kind of falls a little bit by the wayside. It was also important for me to put her back in the religious context. She is thoroughly bound up with Isis, the most powerful and popular goddess of the day. That counts for a great deal. We're talking about the world just before the birth of Christ. 30 years separate Cleopatra's death from the birth of Christ. And that imagery is very important. I think that there has to be a sort of sense of empathy with the subject. With a literary subject, and certainly with Ben Franklin, there's something on the page which is somehow luring you. I could never get over what a great writer Franklin was. In this case, it was really the drama of the story. It was the fact that you had a really sensational series of vicissitudes with which you could work. I like to think that we can get past the idea of Cleopatra, the shamefully seductive female, and begin to see that there was a very commanding, very clever, very quick-witted ruler behind the story. And I like to think, too, that there's a way that you can make the ancient world come alive and begin to see how it functioned, how it smelled, how it looked. A world that is lost and was pretty much forgotten for 1,500 years. I like to think that in some way I've been able to make that come alive.